Hello all, my name is Shripriya Saurav and welcome to my YouTube channel Impart and Imbibe. First of all, thank you so much for your like, subscribe and share. Please keep on sharing in your network and also keep on sharing your views with me so that I can give you better videos for better understanding. The topic which I'm going to discuss today is journal. So let's see what journal is. Journal is one of the important aspects of bookkeeping in accounting. Bookkeeping is starting part of accounting and it relates to recording of transactions, and journal is one of the major aspect of bookkeeping. It is the basic step, the first step and the most crucial step. It cannot be taken easily. All your focus should be put on journal entry so that you get correct profit and loss at the end of the year, what an organization is making. And in order to assess the liabilities and capital invested, we need to make journal entry which is quite comprehensive and which includes everything. So journal entry is a book of original entry. From here, we make postings to other books such as ledger, trial balance, etc. So what is journal? These are the topics which I will be covering in my video. What is journal? Types of journal, format of journal, what is compound journal entry, how do we record trade discount and cash discount in a journal, what is bad debts and how we record it in a journal, what is accounting equation, and we will use this accounting equation or modern approach to record transactions in journal, and how do we record opening balance of assets and liabilities in journal. This will be covered by me. Now, what is journal? Journal is a book of prime entry. As I already told you, it is a book of prime entry. From here, we further post into other accounts. So this is the first actual entry in the books of account. So it is a book of prime entry. It is a detailed account because in this account, date, particulars, like what account to be debit, what account to be credit, and the narration, like what is the reason of these two accounts being debited and credited. All these things are recorded, the debit side and credit side. So it is a detailed account of all the financial transaction. It is used to transfer the data to other financial accounting records. So as I told you, from here only further accounting records are done through journal, and it is also used for future reconciling. Journal helps in reconciling in future because we have a record of all the data in a chronological order, in a sequenced manner, and also we have a detailed data which is recorded in journal. So it is also used for reconciling in future if required. Now there are various types of journal. Those are purchase journal, sales journal, cash receipts journal, cash payment or disbursement journal, purchase return journal, sales return journal, and the journal proper or general journal. In purchase journal, we record all credit purchases made. In sales journal, we record all the sales or credit sales made. In cash receipts journal, we record all receipts which are received in cash. For example, any sales which is made through cash or any income which is received through cash is recorded in this journal. Similarly, in cash payment, any purchase made through cash or any payments which are made through like salary, wages, etc. through cash are recorded in this cash payment journal. Purchase return journal is related to return of goods. Suppose there are certain for example, I'll give you an example, normal day-to-day example. You purchase certain goods and there are certain shops which they have a policy that you can return within 15 days or 20 days if you don't like the goods. So that you made a purchase and you are returning back. So it is a purchase return. Similarly, in concern also, this happens. So we can, in our books, when we return, we maintain a purchase return journal because we are returning certain goods which we don't like or which we don't find suitable, or if we have excess of any such goods. And similarly, When sales return journal also, if you make certain sales to certain somebody, and you also provide the policy of return policy, and the person to whom you made the sales return backs to you, that is a sales return. So sales return journal also, you have to record all the sales return goods which have been returned, though you have sold it but you got it back. So it is a sales return journal. And the journal proper and general journal, it is the journal which records all transactions. There is no separation, or there is no it encompasses all economic transaction, and it records all debits and credits of accounting activity which is happening every day. So this is the format. For example, on January 1st, 2020, Rahul started business with cash rupees 1 lakh, generalized the transaction. So again, as I discussed in my earlier video, the flow of thought should be for any question. We'll find out two accounts will get impacted. What are those two accounts which is getting impacted? What to debit, what to credit. Okay, so two accounts getting impacted in this transaction, cash and capital. Now, cash is real account. Cash is coming in the business. So, debit what comes in as per the golden rule of accounting. Capital is representative personal account. It represents the owner. So, it is a personal account. Therefore, the owner is the giver. So, debit the receiver, credit the giver. So, we will credit capital account. Two account, cash and capital. Cash is debit, capital credit. And how do we write it in journal? This is the format. First column date, then particular, then ledger folio, debit amount, credit amount. So in date, we will write the date of the transaction. In particular, what to debit and what to credit. So two accounts, cash and capital. Cash account, debit. So we have written cash account, debit. And the account which we credit, we write as to capital account. So account which is credited is written like this, to capital account. Now we write the amount. We also write the narration. Why we debit cash and credit capital. So being business started by Rahul is the reason. Narration always starts with being. This is the format of journal. And ledger folio is related to ledger, which we will be discussing in further videos. Like it is a kind of a page number, because all these accounts will have separate ledger account, and which will be made with the help of this journal. So this is for the time being, it will be kept blank. So this is the way we make the journal entry. This is the format: date, particular, ledger folio, debit amount rupees, credit amount rupees. This should be same. Okay. So date we have mentioned what to debit, what to credit. What we credit, we write it as to that account, and amount, and also the narration. I hope this is clear. Now, I will explain one example of journal entries in the books of Mehta and Sons with the help of golden rule of accounting, which we have discussed in previous video. So what does golden rule of accounting say? I have shown here also for your reference. I have discussed in the previous video. Those who want to understand that in detail can check in my previous video. So example says, on 1/5/2020, Mehta and Sons started business with cash rupees 50,000. Again, two account flow of thought, two accounts getting impacted. Where does that account fall, in which category? We'll find out amount and we will journalize it. Now, two account, cash and capital. Cash coming in, capital is giver. So representation of person, representation of owner. Cash will be debited and capital will be credited, and it will be written as in the journal like this: Journal of Mehta and Son. Date, where I mentioned the date, debit, cash account debit, to capital account, amount, and then the narration. Similarly, second number, on 2/5/2020, took a bank loan of 50,000. Two accounts getting impacted: bank loan and bank. He took a bank loan. It means bank cash is coming in, bank, there is addition, so cash is coming in. So 50,000 will be, bank account will be debited for 50,000 because debit what comes in. Bank loan is again a representative personal account. Giver 50,000, bank loan giver 50,000. So it will be credited. So bank account debit to bank loan account, and in this manner we will post in the journal. Bank account debit to bank loan account, we will write the amount and the narration being bank loan taken on date we have mentioned here, right? Again, on 3/5/2020 purchase goods rupees 3,000. You have to notice that here it is not mentioned in cash or who is the from whom we have purchased the goods. It is not mentioned, right? It means it is the purchase has been made in cash. When nothing is mentioned, we will assume that purchase has been made in cash. So purchase goods, two accounts getting impacted, purchase and cash. Cash is going out, and what is happening? We purchase goods, goods is coming in, or you can also say purchase is an expense. So if we consider it as a nominal account, so it will, then also it will be debited. If we consider goods as an asset real account, then also it will be debited. So the transaction to will be, or the journal entry will be, purchase account debit to cash account, and in this manner we will post in the journal. Purchase account debit, any account which we credit, we write to that account, to cash account, and the amount, and again the narration with date. Again on 8/5/2020 sold the goods worth rupees 10,000 to Siddhant. Here it is specified that we are selling to Siddhant. It means we are selling to Siddhant, sales and Siddhant, two accounts. Sales, it is income because it generates cash, and Siddhant is receiving the goods, personal account, debit the receiver and credit the giver in case of personal account, and it is sales is if we consider it to be a nominal account. So what is happening? Sales is generating income, therefore cash is coming in, therefore it is an income. Income means income and gains will be credited. So sales will be credited, Siddhant will be debited. Siddhant account debit to sales account. This is the manner we will write the journal entry. Siddhant account debit to sales account, amount, narration and date we have mentioned. Similarly, sold goods to Preeti for rupees 5,000. Again, Preeti and sales, two accounts getting impacted. Preeti is receiving the goods, so Preeti will be debited, and sales is income, it generates income, so it will be credited. So Preeti account debit to sales account. Again, sold goods worth rupees 20,000 to various other consumers on 25/5/2020, and payment was received in cash. So cash and sales, cash coming in, sales is income and gain. So cash account debit to sales account. Two entry, the previous one, Preeti account debit to sales account 5,000, 5,000, and this cash account debit to sales account 20,000, 20,000. Sales made to various customers in cash, right? Again, we see on 28/5/2020, there are two transactions which are made, rent paid and salary paid, both on the same date, okay? So we can write it in a compound entry form of journal. I will show you how. See, rent account, because rent is expenses, salary is expenses, rent account and salary account will be debited. Here also cash, here also cash. So cash will be credited because cash is going out. Total cash 8,000 plus 10,000, 18,000. 18,000 cash is going out. Okay. So we will write 18,000 in that. And how we will debit which account? We will debit rent account. We will debit salary account to cash account. So it will be rent account debit, salary account debit to cash account, and total amount should be 18,000. It is by mistake, it is written as 20,000. It will be 10,000 is salary, 8,000 is rent, so it should be 18,000. Okay, we'll correct it. We'll correct it. Rent is 8,000. Salary is 10,000. So it should be 80,000, right? So this is an example of compound entry. Okay. Why compound entry? Because here more than one account is debited. If more than one account is debited and the other account is credited, or more than one account is credited and other account is debited, such examples are examples of, or such entries are examples of compound entry. It is an example of compound entry because both the cash transaction are happening on same date. So we have written it as compound entry. You can also write it separately, not a problem. But we wrote it together because cash transaction is happening through rent and through salary which is being paid. So we have made it in a compound entry form of journal entry, right? Similarly, on 30th 5/2020 received from Preeti rupees 4,500 in full settlement of her account. Okay, so we have purchased, we have sold certain goods to Preeti, right? We have sold certain goods to Preeti for rupees 5,000, and but we received only 4,500 in full settlement of her account. It means since we have sold goods to Preeti, so Preeti was our debtor, okay? Because she did not pay at that time, she became our debtor. But when she paid, when her account was cleared, it was, she paid only 4,500. It means that 500 amount, there is a difference of 500 amount. So what is this 500? And it is also, it is in full settlement of her account. She is no longer going to pay anything more than 4,500. This is what she will be able to pay. That is amount 4,500. Now, since she's a debtor and she needs to pay it, this amount will be known as discount allowed account, and discount allowed account is like an expense to us. So discount allowed account will be debited. Since we are receiving cash 4,500, cash is coming in real account, it will be debited. And from whom we are receiving? Who is the giver? Preeti is the giver, and in full settlement, so to Preeti account. Preeti account will be credited. Again, cash account debit 4,500, discount allowed account debit 500, to Preeti account 5,000. It means it is also an example of compound entry. More than one account is debited and against one credit account. We will write the narration, and this is the way we have completed the journal entry for Mehta and Sons. Now, as I told you from previous example, these are the examples of compound entry. More than one debit or more than one credit, any journal entry will fall under the category of compound entry. Okay. Now, this cash discount and trade discount, what is it? Discount, we all are aware of the term discount, and it really makes us happy when we think of discount. Oh, we are getting discount. Okay, let's buy this. Okay, it impacts our decision, right? Similarly, business also allows two kinds of discount known as cash discount and trade discount. I will explain you better with the help of an example. Suppose I deal in selling of mobile phones, and I have a supplier, and that supplier I purchase total of 100 mobile sets, and I need to pay him 1 lakh. But he allows me 20,000 trade discount for buying 100 sets at a time. Okay. Now I need to pay him only 80,000 for 100 sets of mobile phone. It means since I am buying in bulk, I am buying 100 sets. So he's allowing me certain amount of discount, and that discount is known as trade discount. So in the books of account, what I will be maintaining, in that I will not mention that I have received trade discount this 2000 amount. I will only deduct from the price which was offered to me initially and price I actually paid. Price offered to me was 1 lakh, but after discount, since I made a bulk purchase, I paid only 80,000. So what entry I will be making? I will be making an entry which will say that I purchased this mobile handset. So that will be my handset is coming in. Purchase account is an expense. Any way you can think. Purchase account is getting debited. Purchase account debit to, suppose the supplier's name was ABC, to ABC Limited. Okay, amount will be 1 lakh minus 20,000, 80,000. Now what happens? This ABC Limited gives me an offer. He tells me that if you pay me 75,000 immediately, if you can pay me 75,000 immediately, I will not charge you 80,000. The 5,000 will be discount given to you. I think it's a good offer, and I had the money in hand. I told him, okay, I can pay you 75,000. Now this 5,000 is cash discount. Why it is given? It is given to facilitate prompt payment, that I pay immediately, and this is allowed at the time of payment. Trade discount of 20,000 was allowed at the time of purchase, and cash discount is allowed at the time of payment. And in the books of account, my entry will be like this: since I am paying cash, so and I am receiving discount, so cash account will be credited, discount received account will be credited, and ABC account will be debited. Okay, so my entry will be ABC account debit to cash account to discount received account, because discount received is an income for me, cash is going out, and ABC is the receiver. Who is receiving the cash? ABC is receiving the cash from me. So fine. So personal account, ABC is receiver. So this will be my journal entry. ABC account debit to cash account to discount received account, and ABC account will be debited for 80,000. Okay, cash account will be I'm paying 75,000, and discount allowed will discount received will be 5,000. So total of 80,000. So this is an example of trade discount and cash discount. Trade discount is not recorded in the books. Cash discount is recorded. Trade discount, as I told you, it is allowed at the time of purchase. Cash discount at the time of payment. These are the basic differences. Now, this will be clearer with the help of an example. These are certain examples which will show the effect of trade discount and cash discount. Purchase goods at list price of rupees 20,000 from Vishal at 20% trade discount against a check payment. Point to note here is, it is against a check payment. It means bank account is involved here. We are purchasing goods from whom? We are purchasing goods from Vishal for 20,000, 20% trade discount. So amount of purchase will be, the price paid for the purchase will be 20,000 less 20% of 20,000. It means 20,000 minus 4,000, 16,000. And since we are purchasing, goods are coming in, purchase in expense, you can think it in any way. Purchase account debit to bank account, and amount will be 16,000. This is how an entry is made in journal entry. Purchase account debit, credit account is bank account, so we will write as to bank account being purchase made, and the amount after deduction of trade discount comes to 16,000. It was 20,000 less 20% of 20,000 means 4,000 will be deducted, and we get here the amount which is 16,000. Similarly, purchase goods at list price of rupees 30,000 from Amrit at 20% trade discount. We are purchasing goods from Amrit. Purchase and Amrit, two accounts. Amount will be 30,000 less 20%. 30,000 20% will be 6,000. Amount will be 24,000. Two accounts. Purchase Amrit. What to debit? Purchase will be debit. Amrit account will be credit, purchase account debit to Amrit's account, because we are receiving the goods, we are the getting goods is coming, goods are coming in, and Amrit account will be, it is a personal account, so he is the giver. One who is a giver is always credited, debit the receiver and credit the giver, and it will go like that. Purchase account debit to Amrit account, amount will be 24,000. Why? Because he is allowing us 20% of trade discount. So 30,000 minus 20% of 30,000 comes to 6,000. So 30,000 minus 6,000 equals to 24,000. We have only mentioned the effect, not the trade discount. Okay, point to remember, trade discount is not recorded in the books of account. Now here comes into picture goods return, purchase return, purchased from Amrit. It means we are returning certain goods which were purchased from Amrit. Maybe we have excess of good, or whatever the reason may be, we are returning it. Since we are returning it, the list price is mentioned. We received the goods at a discount, so we will return the goods also after deducting that trade discount amount. So it was 20%. So 20% of 10,000 will be 2,000. So amount will be 8,000, and entry will be goods going out. So purchase return account will be credited and Amrit's account will be debited. So Amrit is receiving the good. So personal account debited, credit account to purchase return account 8,000 after calculating the effect of trade discount even in this transaction. Again, sold goods to Bhupesh costing rupees 10,000. Here we have to be very careful. Costing rupees 10,000 at cost plus 20% less 10% trade discount. It means cost price of the goods are 10,000 and profit is 20% of 10,000. So we are selling the goods to Bhupesh. At what price we are selling? We are selling at cost plus profit minus trade discount. So what will be the amount? So 20% of 10,000 is the profit. It means 20% of 10,000 is 2,000 is profit. 10,000 plus 2,000, 12,000 now becomes the list price. Now we will deduct 10% trade discount. Okay. So 10% of 12,000 which we have calculated here, 10,000 plus 20% of 10,000 which came to 12,000 minus 10% of trade discount. So 10% of 12,000 will come to 1,200. 1,200 will be deducted from 12,000 and it will become 10,800. So sold goods to Bhupesh costing rupees 10,000 at cost plus 20% less 10% trade discount. This is the way we will calculate, and it will come to 10,800. Two accounts, sales and Bhupesh is receiver. Sales income, it is generates income, so it will be credited. Bhupesh account will be debited and amount will be 10,800, and this is the way we will make the journal entry. Sales Bhupesh account debit to sales account amount, right? Narration. And since date is not mentioned, we have just written the serial number. Okay. Now, Soumya returned goods of list price rupees 10,000 sold to her at 10% trade discount. We sold certain goods to Soumya. Okay. So, Soumya and sales. Okay. But she is returning those goods. It means sales return is happening. We sold her the goods costing rupees 10,000 at 10% trade discount. It means again we will calculate the actual price at which she will be returning the goods. That is obviously after deducting 10% trade discount. So 10% of 10,000 will again come to 1,000. So amount will be 9,000, right? 10,000 minus 10% of 10,000, 9,000 worth goods will be returned by Soumya. So sales return, goods coming in. What we have sold, we are receiving back, goods coming in. So real account, goods coming in will be debited, and Soumya is the giver. So credit the giver. In this way, transaction will be sales return account debit to Soumya's account. We will write the amount after calculation, like we have deducted rate discount, and this is the narration. This is the way we post in the journal. Again, coming back to question, it says paid to Amrit 15,500 as final settlement on accounts of goods purchased by him. He was creditor for rupees 16,000. In the earlier question, we have seen that we are purchasing certain goods from Amrit. We also have returned certain goods to Amrit, and here we say that total, since we are purchasing and we are returning whatever, since we are purchasing from Amrit, so Amrit is creditor for us, and he is creditor for rupees 16,000 now. After all returning and all transaction, all we have seen, he is creditor for rupees 16,000. It is mentioned in the question, but he is only able to pay 15,500. It means 500 rupees is yet to be received by him, and then it is written, it is a final settlement. It means he is no longer going to pay 500 rupees. So he will be only paying 15,500. We will be only paying 15,500 against 16,000, which we need to pay. Since we are creditor, okay, I think there is certain, we are creditor for rupees 16,000. Okay, we have purchased certain goods from Amrit. We are returning certain goods to Amrit. Now we are creditor for rupees 16,000 to Amrit, but we are now paying only 15,500. We are considered, it means this is our books of account. We are maintaining it. So we are we have to pay him. How much we have to pay him? We have to pay him rupees 16,000, but we are actually paying him rupees 15,500. He was creditor for rupees 16,000 to us. It means 500 is discount which is allowed to us by him. Now we only need to pay him 15,500 instead of 16,000. So again, there will be a compound entry, and there will be effect of cash discount now, which we will be mentioning in the journal. So 3 accounts: Amrit, cash, and discount received. We are paying cash, okay, we are receiving discount, and to whom we are paying? To Amrit. So Amrit is the receiver. Debit the receiver. So Amrit account debited to cash account to discount received account will be the journal entry. So here it goes: Amrit account to cash account to discount received account. Creditor for 16,000, fully settled for 15,500, and here 500 is the discount which is received. This is also an example of compound entry and cash discount received, which we have mentioned in the journal. Now, again, received from Soumya 8,500 as full and final settlement. Okay, Soumya, we have sold certain goods to Soumya. So she is a debtor for certain amount. It is mentioned that she is debtor for 9,000 and she is able to pay only 8,500. So her account will be settled fully. So we will be receiving 8,500 and 500 will be the discount which will be allowed to her because it is written full and final settlement. So again, 3 accounts getting impacted: cash, discount, allowed, and Soumya. So cash account will be, because we are receiving cash account will be debited. Discount allowed account will be debited to Soumya's account. Okay? Cash account debited, discount allowed account debited to Soumya's account. We have mentioned the amount 8,500. 500 is discount, and Soumya was our debtor for rupees 9,000. It is finally settled. So this is the way we do discount related transaction, and also this is the way we do compound entry. Okay, this is all about this cash discount and trade discount. Now coming to accounting equation, what does it say? It says liability plus capital equals to asset. All liabilities and any capital invested in firm, any business will equal to asset. This will always be equal. And based on this, we can also do journal entry. So all accounting transaction will fall under these four heads if we follow this approach, that is asset, liability, capital or expenses. So what to debit and what to credit? Okay, if there is any increase in asset, we will debit it. Suppose if we buy a furniture, okay, as I discussed in my previous video, buying a furniture. So furniture is an increase in asset, and also there is a decrease in asset simultaneously, because it is always twofold. Cash is going out. So any decrease in asset will be credited, any increase in asset will be debited. Similarly, if there is any increase in liability, okay, it will be increase in liability will be always credited, and decrease in liability will always be debited. For example, suppose we purchase certain goods from ABC. Okay, so ABC becomes our creditor. So ABC account, since we purchase, he's also the, as per the golden rule of accounting, we are receiving goods from him. So he is the giver of goods. So his account will always be, he is a liability for us because he is a creditor, and he, as per the golden rules, he is giver. So it will be here credited. It means any increase in liability will always be credited as per the accounting equation approach or modern approach, or it is also known as American approach. And any decrease in, when we pay cash to, say, XYZ Limited, what is happening? XYZ Limited is no longer in our books. It is decrease in liability, so it is debited. Similarly, any increase in capital is credited. When we invest certain amount as a capital, so what we do, capital account is credited. And decrease in capital, when we draw certain amount for personal use, it is a decrease in capital, it is always debited. Similarly, any expense, if increase salary, wages, it will be debited, and if it is decrease, then it will be credited. So any accounting activity will come under these four heads, and we can also do journal entry based on accounting equation method. Till now we have seen how to do journal entry based on golden rule of accounting. In this manner also we can do the journal entry, and it will be all same. It doesn't matter what approach you take, the journal entry will remain same. And we will be discussing further questions on this in my next video. This is all for today, and I think we will be discussing bad debts and all in my next video, bad debts and opening balance of how to do entry for opening balance of assets and liabilities. And we will do certain questions based on accounting equation method. Then the journal entry will be clear. We need to be very sure about journal entry. It has to be done correctly, and it has to be done precisely, and we have to focus all our attention on journal entry, because once journal entry is done, we have done 80% of accounts. That's what expert says, because journal entry is the foundation. As I told, golden rule is foundation, because through golden rule we post journal entry. So if we are able to correctly post entries in the books of account, that is journal, we have reached the 80% of accounting goals. That's all for today. We will be discussing further about journal in my next video. Till then, please like, subscribe and share as much as you can, so that it reaches to the one who actually needs it. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.